glad to have you on the webinar today. It is always a delight for me to talk about our products and services because what we do is so important and so helpful. I called this, the webinar today, I gave it this title on purpose, the Deceptively Simple and Powerful Marketing Tool. First of all, what's the marketing tool? The combination of music and messages. I call it deceptively simple because when you think about having to add things onto your phones or in your dealership showroom to have music played overhead, you know inevitably it's going to involve some kind of a technical piece. And sometimes it doesn't even have to, but often it does. And for some people, that can stop them in their tracks because they feel like they can't do it, they don't have the right help. And once we can get past any of those kinds of technical barriers, either with our help or walking you through it, and we get that kind of thing out of the way, then we've removed the technical piece. You don't have any more files to load. You're not touching things anymore, which is not the case with other solutions in the industry. And then we take over helping you with your content. And that's when it becomes so simple because we're managing that for you if you allow us to. So that's the reason why I called it deceptively simple. And then it's powerful because the results that you'll get, not only in brand awareness, brand loyalty, but also can we get buyers to invest their money with your business is what it's all about. And through music and messages, both on your phones and in your dealership, you'll find that begins to happen. We are all about, here at Easy on Hold, easy, innovative solutions that deliver stunning customer experiences. We have over 500 ag equipment dealer locations right now. We've primarily been focusing our efforts in John Deere just because it's very strong word of mouth referral. We are now branching into other brands in the ag equipment space, but we sure love our John Deere dealers. We started 21 years ago, and I remember every moment. So it's been an exciting run for our company. And the reason why is because through technology, which you're going to hear a little bit about today, primarily streaming, we are leading our industry, both in the overhead music service, that's what would come through in your dealership, and also on your phones. Real quick, the belief that if phone systems are going into the cloud, why shouldn't our on hold? And so we have followed that belief and have had great success both for our clients and for ourselves. Our values are high tech. Again, if we're not leading the way technologically, if we are doing things the old-fashioned way, we're not going to get very far, and neither are you. So we have made a commitment to being a very high-tech company, both in how we treat our customers and even how we act as a company internally. Number two, we're high touch. Your phone calls do get returned. That's high touch. A thank you note in the mail. It's amazing how important that can become when you're trying to decide if you can trust this company you've just decided to invest with. High touch means we're going to help you solve any technical issues you may be having until it is working and you feel confident. So we're a high touch company. Excellence, we got to do things well. We have got to set the standard. And as the CEO, I have to make sure I'm doing all those things too myself, and then helping my team to do the same thing. So what I want to talk to you about today are two things. First of all, customer touch points. And it's really about when folks are coming inside your dealership, what does that sound like and what does that feel like? And then secondly, with this happy ag equipment client over on the right, we want him to be that thrilled when he's on hold with your dealership. And this is where we're going to camp, and this is what we focus on. And if we do it right, we're going to capture the hearts of our customers. And once we capture their hearts and we have good ideas and a lot of light bulb moments, then we can make a case for asking your clients to invest their money with you. I want to first focus on bringing your showroom alive. We have a case study today with Right Implement, one of our John Deere clients. And here is their showroom, one of their showrooms. And typical, right? It's a good looking building. They've worked, very hard, spent a lot of money on having an impressive building for their clients to come into. They have product on the lawn so that they'll catch your eye and have you come on in and take a closer look, maybe do a test drive. And here's a Drive Green event. They've got their parking lot full of balloons. It's very festive, and everything says you are welcome here. So far, so good. From the parking lot right up to the front door. The challenge is, though, what was happening with their clients when their potential buyers would walk into the dealership. It got really quiet. You could hear the crickets. So they came to us for help. And what did we do? We built them their very own radio station through our music service called Brandy Music. What you'll hear in Right Implement is they're blending up to 4 channels. We have 60 channels. They're blending up to 4. And what that does is it gives you a very a unique independent sound. It's not going to be a loop that all the other companies on that very same channel are getting. Because you can mix and match, and because of our streaming algorithms, no 2 songs ever play in the same order. And you get a very rich, very unique blend. They can go in at any time and change their channel mix, and the changes occur in real time as soon as the current song that's playing finishes. And then what we did is we added in short promotions and announcements so that every 4 to 5 songs, there may be a short announcement, 10 to 20 words. For example, Drive Green event. That would be one that they would play for folks who are shopping. Also, we would include some day part greetings. These are like an audio handshake. Someone comes in, today is Thursday, and so maybe while you're shopping, you hear, "Thanks for stopping in at Right Implement today. Hope your Thursday is off to a great start." So these are also heard throughout the day in between songs to create this very friendly, happening environment. We make sure that when we built our music service, that we had a platform, an algorithm that wouldn't interrupt the song. I know that I can remember in the past when I've been in our local grocery store and I'll hear this great song and it's making me feel good to be there, and then they interrupt the song with an announcement and a commercial for one of their, the brands that asked to be on their playlist that day for diapers, who knows what. And that interrupts the song. I have to listen to the whole announcement. Now I'm frustrated and I've tuned out the commercial because I wanted to hear the rest of the song. The song resumes and it's almost over with. And so that was an irritant and not something that I welcomed. So we took care of that problem with Brandy Music. And finally, you don't have any worries about the licensing police. We take care of all the royalties. We talk to all the licensing agencies. We know how they work. We pay it so you don't have to, and you're not worried about getting yourself into trouble because you're playing something overhead that isn't legal. There are many reasons why dealer showroom music makes your customers stay longer and buy more. I've got 3 for you and then a bonus. Number 1, 84% of shoppers say they like to shop at places that play in-store music. So that means only 16% don't want to hear music. And with these kinds of, I would say the majority rules here. So let's get some music inside the stores. Let's make your store, your dealership, a destination so that when they think about visiting, insert your name, dealership, at a subconscious level, they remember, I feels good going in there. It's a place where I feel welcome. It's a place that once I go in through the front door, I want to stay for a while. And the longer we can entice shoppers to stay, the more willing they'll be to invest more money. The second reason is 72% of retailers agree that music can positively influence customer behavior. I can think of when I have been shopping in a certain women's clothing store, and they've got the mix just right. They know my age group. They make me feel like they've got me figured out. So I feel like I'm in the right place. And therefore, I like the brand because I think they like me. And buying really does go at a really deep emotional level of, can we connect with people? And so with the Brandy Music in Right Implement, for example, we're helping them connect with their buyers and their buyers connect with them. The third reason is 79% of retailers say turning off the music would damage the store's atmosphere. So music is so important to retailers that most of them would say we can't, if we would go backwards if we took the music away. And then here's the bonus. We all want to be happier. So 91% of managers and owners say playing music makes customers and staff happier. And I do want to address the staff component. As we've launched this music service, we've been working on this for the last few years. We'll be out and about and we'll ask employees, so if they don't have our music service, because we're always researching the cities that we visit, and we'll learn what music service they have, and they'll say, oh, it plays the same songs over and over. But also we asked, could you work here if there wasn't music to play? They said, no, it would be terrible if we didn't have music to hear. So music is a part of our lives. It makes everyone in a better mood, especially when we're out shopping. So if you haven't thought about putting music in your dealership, I hope you would give that some thought. If you currently have a music service and they don't allow you to include occasional announcements and promotions, you might want to consider finding another music service. You could, of course, we love to chat with you about ours, but that's one thing that I know would move the needle up on the revenue side is, could you be having some suggestive selling while you're there? And of course, if we make everybody happy, then we're going to have a happy little customer, just like this little guy in Right Implement, where there he is buying a tractor and partying with his hard-earned cash right there at the counter, and that's what we're going for. If you're playing Pandora, or Sirius XM, there's a couple things that you've got to be aware of. Number one, depending on the version that you have, it may not be legal. And that goes back to the licensing police problem a moment ago. If you're just playing the Pandora that's free and you're using that inside your store, you are in jeopardy of being fined by ASCAP, BMI, and the others, because that is licensed for personal use only, and you may not use it in a business situation. Same with Sirius XM. The other challenges with those formats is with Pandora, you're going to have a repetitive experience. Let's say you like Bob Seger, so you put in Bob Seger as your channel. The algorithms for Pandora are smart, but they're not that smart, and they will continue to serve up a bunch of Bob Seger-like material. And maybe you need, maybe your shoppers don't like it as much as you do. You're kind of stuck with that sound. And Pandora gets pretty repetitive because they don't have as much music loaded into their channels as Brandy Music and perhaps others do. The other challenge with Sirius XM is you're stuck with just one channel. With a service like Brandy Music, you can mix up to 4 channels. So you are limited. Yes, it's free, but you get what you pay for. The other service that I wanted to mention is I call it Mood Media. And Mood Media is the behemoth. They've been around forever. In fact, Elevator Music got started with Mood Media when they used to be called Muzak. And the challenge with Mood Media is now they are so massively big that we have grown because they can't keep up with the customer service needs. When you've got old hardware out in the field like they do, you're kind of stuck and you're on your own. I'm not trying to bash a competitor, but I'm just trying to say that when you get so big, you've got to make sure that you've allowed to handle the customer service. So if you're with Mood Media and you've had a less than stellar experience, you're not alone. Talk to us, we can help. Next thing I want to talk to in the next few minutes that we have together is about what is it like now to be on hold. So we've talked about what is it like to be inside of your dealership. Now, what is it like to be a customer holding for help from someone on your team. I chose this photo because what we've learned from time often when we talk with folks is unless you're putting yourself on hold at your own business, it is out of sight, out of mind. In fact, many customers of our clients don't even know how to put themselves on hold at their own business. So when you've got that dynamic going on where, number one, you don't ever experience your own marketing product or experience what it's like to be on hold with your company, and number two, you're busy and you're working on the more visual media, like, do I have television spots running? Do I have radio running? Did I get my print ad in? Did we get the weekly flyer out? Do we send out an email blast? Those things are very visual and oral. But when you've got customers calling in all day, you may be completely unaware of how often the phone is ringing because you don't pick up the phone. So what happens is the phone experience gets forgotten, like cobwebs are growing on it. And this is what then your customers feel like they're in an abandoned ship underwater. I love this photo because it's really symbolic of what that feels like when you are on hold and it's really bad, especially if it's in silence or it's with the same piece of music that repeats over and over because nobody cared to do anything about it. What I'd like you to think about is instead, this is what is possible with this under the surface experience of being on hold with your dealership. A whole new world can come alive. And we can help you do that, or at least if you're working with another on-hold company, I'd like to give you some tips today that you could use to help them serve you better. And if we do that right, 1 out of 5 callers will respond to what they heard on hold. And that's pretty powerful results. I can work with that. That's a good ROI. So let's get into the 5 mistakes that I see ag equipment marketers making with their on hold. Number 1, they use generic content. Why? Because, like I said earlier, they are busy with handling everything else that's on their plates, and the on hold is out of sight, out of mind. So they come up with some generic content, put it on hold, and then they kind of forget about it. It does take some commitment to say, I am going to have current content playing. Now, we've made it simple, and I'm going to show you in a moment how we do it with our clients. But what I'd like you to think about is stay relevant, stay current, stay in the moment with what is going on at your dealership. And what you'll want to start doing is organizing a way to have start and stop dates for all of your unique messages that you're running. If you don't have the dashboard that I'm going to show you in a moment, you will need to keep a spreadsheet and some calendar reminders for yourself so that you can remind your on-hold company to take off, to create new files for you as you go. Now, we're able to do this because we have a streaming platform. And just like any kind of streaming technology today or any streaming service that you get, it's in real time. So if you have a Drive Green event coming up, like here we go, April 28th through May 2nd, well, you don't want people to hear about that May 3rd, and you may not want them to hear about it back in January, but you knew about it in January and you wanted to get it done ahead of time. Well, you can do that with Easy on Hold. Let me show you how. So in our dashboard, we have start and stop date capability. And this is, again, all part of the streaming technology that Easy on Hold has introduced. And it's why we're growing double digits every year. So I built some fictitious events here in the Easy on Hold sample portal. And right here, I have a Drive Green event. If you can look at my mouse, I know I have a bouncing red ball, but I'll use that on my next webinar. And over here, I have a schedule. And it says immediately to forever. Well, we already saw that the dates were April 28th through May 2nd. So I'm going to go right into here, and I'm going to change that to, let's say this was January of 2018, and I wanted to get a lot of my on hold done in advance. So I would have gone ahead to my calendar in here, and I would have pressed, I'd like to give it a 2-week. Let's start promoting it 2 weeks ahead of time. So maybe I would have started that April 14th. Hit save. And I don't want anybody hearing about it after May 2nd. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a stop date of May 2nd. What this means is this single message will only play for this, 3 week period. On midnight of May 2nd, it will stop playing. And I think that's pretty cool. One thing that we've done, I'm going to note real quick here, if you look right over here, is also because of our stream, I can choose which locations hear my content. And for this example, I just chose the Kalamazoo and the Portage stores to hear this announcement. Pretty cool stuff. Let's head back to our presentation and keep moving along. So we've given our John Deere Drive Green event a start and a stop date. Awesome. So we've taken care of problem number one, no more generic content. Let's be specific. The next problem I see is when we have a priority announcement like a Drive Green event, and even though I may be running other messages as well at the same time, if it's the Friday of before the last Saturday of the Drive Green event, I really want to make sure that I have people coming on this last day of the event. And the problem I see is people not taking advantage of a priority feature that is at least available in Easy on Hold. If you don't have Easy on Hold, again, you would have to communicate with your on hold company to make sure that the Drive Green event is heard more often. So here's how we solve that with Easy on Hold. I'm going to go back to my customer portal, and I'm going to go back to my Drive Green event, and I'm going to give it a priority of 10 or more frequently. And what this assures me is that this announcement will play twice as often as my used equipment for May of 2018 or my parts and service hours. This way I know that I stand a better chance every time I place someone on hold that they will hear about Drive Green event more often than anything else. So that's a priority feature, and we don't want to forget about that as marketers. The third mistake I see marketers doing is burying the lead. This is an old journalism term. It means putting the most important thing at the end. And this is where you get really wordy on hold scripts where the marketer they're on the right track. They're trying to do the right thing, but they're neglecting a few just principles of audio listening. And that is number one, the human ear can only hear so much talking at a time. If I'm delivering a minute-long message, at some point I can't assess all that information at once, and I need a break, and I'll just tune it out. So what I would like to see you doing with your scripts is pick one topic, make it 50 words or less, and write it for the ear and not for a brochure. Let me give you an example. This is my before, okay? This is 77 words. It's a little long, and I've seen some that are longer than this, so let me read it out loud. Serving Southern Indiana for more than 30 years, Superior Equipment has established a solid reputation as the leader for the best ag equipment sales and service in the area. Our experienced team of equipment specialists will have you in the driver's seat of your favorite new or used planter, mower, or sprayer. If you're equipment shopping, just ask one of our friendly equipment specialists for assistance. We thank you for holding, and we apologize for the wait. Again, this is not bad, but there's some issues with this paragraph. Number one, long, awkward sentences. As an announcer myself, and I'm in the booth every day reading our clients' scripts, I'm joined by other announcers too, it's best that we have short ideas. This first sentence, the minute I see it starts with one clause and then it goes into another, it's fine for a brochure, but for the ear, it needs to be short and sweet. It needs to just flow and move right along. Second problem with this script is it's full of cliches. This first part of the sentence here is a cliche. Serving such and such for more than 30 years. That's kind of a cliche statement to say how long you've been in business. It's not a bad thing to say how long you've been in business, but this is predictable and it's heard, It's just this phrase is used too often. Things like established a solid reputation as the leader. Every business would like to say they've established a solid reputation as the leader. So we have to find new ways in an age where we're all a lot more sophisticated when it comes to marketing. We have to find new ways to say classic ideas, our experienced team, have you in the driver's seat. That's kind of a cliche. Another challenge with this is we're apologizing for putting people on hold. In this day and age, you don't have to do that. It is, I get it, you want to be polite, but all we're doing is reminding people that they're on hold. And we're kind of wasting valuable time where we could be telling them something else. They get that they're on hold, they're not mad at you, but if you can make it a better experience, they're good. We'll hang in there. Finally, with them, what's in it for me? This paragraph is kind of all about superior equipment, how great they are. So here's my rework of this. I've got it down to 50 words, which is a really, really nice little length of scripting. And I've made it about the caller. You've done your homework. You found the tractor that's going to make all the difference this season. But can you afford it? At Superior, we've got the lowest interest rates in all of Southern Indiana. The next move is yours. We'll be on the line to help in just a moment. So here's what I think is working with this rewrite. Number one, as I mentioned, it's from the customer's perspective. It's all about them. You. We're having some fun. It's lighthearted. You've done your homework. You found the tractor that's going to make all the difference. It's just kind of a playful writing style. Short sentences. We've only got a few seconds, so you've done your homework. Again, lots of periods. I like to see those. And then active voice. The sound is flowing. The words emphasize actions, and it's confident. So with Easy on Hold, we do all this writing for you. And if you're working with another on hold company, make sure that they're using active voice. This is an example. And they're not giving you these long, clumsy, kind of boring scripts that are boring your callers. I guarantee it. Mistake number 4, using radio spots as your on hold message. We get why you do it. If you're doing this, we understand. They're free, you've already paid for them, why not? But what we want to do with on hold is make it a conversation, make it personable. I get it that you're not able to talk as the person on hold, but if you can feel like the announcer and the music is all kind of aimed at you, and it's like someone is attempting to be, just real and authentic with you, then you'll stay on hold longer and you'll actually listen to what's being said. Radio spots are aggressive. If you think about it, they're meant to interrupt you while you're driving. They're meant to interrupt while you're busy doing something else. They're meant to get your attention. They're hurried because they've got to squeeze it into 60 seconds. The other challenge is, like as I mentioned, it's not conversational. And finally, they're usually urging someone to call. And if you just are putting that on your hold, you're asking people to call your number when they're already on hold. So it sounds a little silly. The next mistake, and the final that I have for you today, is not using your hold content as social media. Oh my gosh, 50 words, that's a perfect post for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, add a photo to it, whatever. And I want to show you back at the Easy on Hold portal where we were. We have a social media feature right here. So looking at that dry green event, I could have posted this to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn if it's appropriate, Pinterest, add a photo to it, Google Plus if you're still using that. Instagram is coming with our dashboard later this year, but we're working on that. And then even just as an aside, you can even email that to everyone on your team. So if your on-hold company doesn't allow this, that's okay. You go post it anyway and get double mileage out of what you're working on. The next thing, and as I wrap up today, I know we're getting on in time, is kind of what Easy on Hold is trying to overcome is the traditional loop. Most on-hold companies are still doing on-hold this way, where you take usually a 4-minute piece of music, and you plop over the top at even intervals these little announcements. And what happens is we are very sophisticated, as I mentioned, of recognizing when that piece of music has ended and when I'm hearing the same thing start from the beginning. When I already hear that announcement, I get that I've been on hold and I'm becoming more frustrated, and hold time now seems longer. With streaming technology from Easy on Hold, you wouldn't hear every paragraph coming in the same order. It wouldn't be a circle. It would be randomized playback. So if I have dry green event, I have hours and locations, I've got a used equipment special, and maybe 5 other topics. The caller will never know what's coming next because each one has its own piece of music mixed underneath. And then when we add in, hope you're having a great Thursday, thanks for calling us today, and those come in randomly, the caller feels like they're on hold with your own radio station, just like when they visit your dealership, it sounds like your own radio station. Same kind of idea. We are flipping the idea, the old-fashioned idea of being on hold, on its head. That's all I have for you today. I hope that was helpful. Again, if you're with another on-hold company or another overhead service company, perhaps some of this may apply. But I do have an offer for you. It's easy for me to talk about this, and I'm talking about it conceptually, but then it's so much better if you can actually experience it for yourself and hear it for yourself. So we're offering a free 30-day trial, and if you choose to move forward, 10% off your first year. It's both Brandy Music, which is your own dealer branded radio station, music and announcements inside your showroom, and also for your phones. Single location only, please. And we would love to get you started and tell you more and walk you through all that. Again, thanks everyone. Have a great afternoon.